lock the connector down, make sure that tripod mounts in place, and snap it back together. Now before I put the screws back in, I like to check to make sure it works, because 3 times I had to take it apart. And then if it doesn't work, just redo all those ribbon connectors because they may not be sitting correctly. Turn it on, and it seems to be working. Yep, that was my problem. I didn't have the sensor cable plugged in all the way. Okay, so now you can see the rear LCD here. I don't really have anything. I can't focus that close. There's the little IR cut filter. You can see the screen now. Okay, once you have the conversion done and you have your IR filter on, another way would be to attach a filter to the front element here somehow. You might have to I modify the tube to fit here and then put a filter on the front, an infrared filter. So once you do that, you'll want to set up the camera for infrared. So to do that, put it in the normal camera mode, turn it on, and go into the menu. I'm complaining that my memory card's full. And then you're going to want to set a few things in here. Let me actually go to the play menu so I can get it. No, that won't work. Okay. So get into the menu. And then you're going to want to set the white balance. When you set the white balance, you're going to want to go down to manual. The first thing to do though is to go to the manual set, which is this one right here. Let me turn this so it's right side up. Okay, so you'll want to go down to that manual set down there, which is that one. And it's going to select an area for you to set the white balance. I'm going to choose the table there. Usually with infrared, you set the white balance to the grass, and that'll make the grass mostly white, and the other foliage, and it'll give you the nice color balance. If you use the camera's automatic mode, it'll probably be all reddish cast, and it won't look very nice. So I'll set the white balance to that spot on the table there. Okay, and then that'll give it a fairly, I don't know if I can show you here, I'm going to take a picture. After you do the set, the white balance set, then you actually have to select the manual white balance. And then get out of there. Delete the images. Take a picture. And you'll see that this has a nice grayish tone like it should. Almost black and white. Blues will show up as blue, reds will usually show up as white, and a couple other colors will show up. Just try photographing different things. Everything will show up a little bit different than you're used to with visible light. Most clothes will show up as white, but some will show up as black if they absorb a lot of IR. Then the next setup thing we do, sensitivity. I like to use the least sensitive mode, which is the best image quality, so ISO 80. Set the picture size to the best, highest megapixels, 6 megapixels, highest quality, whatever autofocus mode you want. Slow shutter speed, I set that to the longest, which is 1. Turn off digital zoom. Color effect, if you want it more blue, you can choose cool, or if you want it reddish, you can choose warm, black and white, or sepia tone, of course. I just use off because I can add those in the computer later if I want. And picture adjust, I do natural. Natural will give you the most room with the JPEG, but you might experiment and try standard or vivid too and see which one works the best for you. Infrared is really low contrast, so you actually, raw is not too important because your dynamic range of the scene is usually only like 5 or 6 f-stops, it seems like. So you're not as likely to blow highlights. And then I think that's about everything there. If you hit the display button, you can get the histogram to show up. That histogram is really nice when shooting infrared to see if you're going to clip any highlights. Anti-shake is on, of course. Turn the flash off. If you do use the flash in infrared, the flash produces a lot of infrared light, but it turns the image all red. You'd have to get rid of it later with white balance. Because I'm assuming the camera chooses a flash white balance when you use the flash, and that just throws off the infrared. But on your computer, you could set it to whatever you want. Since this camera shoots JPEG only, though, you don't have as much room to work with. So, as I said, ISO 80 is what I like to use. You can use higher if you want to. 6 megapixels, highest quality, natural, and I like to turn that histogram on. So, it looks like the camera is good to go. There's your 20-minute modification to turn your Lumix into a nice quality infrared camera.